Please keep enjoying. If you haven't finished your break, keep enjoying. And the starting session with the video is a 12-minute video about Theptarin today, what we are doing today. And then after the video, I'll go back on how we arrived to what we are doing today.
True success is not in the learning, but in its application for the benefit of mankind. A private care with a public concern. Theptarin Hospital, Bangkok. Who will believe that for 10 years, this lady has had diabetes, a health threat of the Thai people today. Dietary control as well as regular physical activity or exercise has helped her to have better quality of life. Suchinda said that she has participated in the health program at the Theptarin Hospital, according to a friend's advice. I stopped taking medication several years ago, and I do exercise regularly, modify my lifestyles, eat proper diet, and exercise as directed by the doctor. Today, she has an appointment for a physical checkup as scheduled by the doctor. She has also reviewed healthcare practices that she has learned before at this place. As told by the doctor, the results of her checkup are normal. Suchinda is an example of patients attending Theptarin Hospital in Bangkok, which is well known as the private hospital initiating medical care and prevention of diabetes. When I first realized that I had diabetes, I was very worried. But after consulting with the doctor, I was hopeful as the advice was very helpful in treating the disease. I continuously adhere to the appointments for medical checkups and treatment. Today, I am healthy and still exercise regularly. At Theptarin Hospital, the differences in its medical care compared with that at other private hospitals include the medical treatment and disease prevention, focusing on the life balance and sufficiency lifestyles approach through the inner study and change, based on learning for behavior changes or modification from the treatment of illness towards disease prevention and health promotion. Professor Thep Himatongkam, CEO of Theptarin Hospital, said that the stance of Theptarin Hospital on patient care is to inform or educate them about the illness and help them to change or modify their health behaviors. Previously, the patients came for follow-up care and additional medications and then went home. Today, our approach is modifying the patient's eating behaviors as diabetes can recur even after being cured if the patient resumes such unhealthy habits. Communication campaigns have been designed and undertaken using various media directed towards the people to provide knowledge, understanding, and awareness about self-health care to avoid health risks. Tanya Vannapruege, Associate Director of Theptarin Hospital, said that we hope that our healthcare recipients will gain more knowledge and see the importance of disease prevention, leading to positive behavioral modification. Importantly, our hospital staff have to adopt such modification too. We stress the communication approach that can reach the audiences within and outside the hospital. For example, we conduct rallies for the public, with several bases each on different health topics, into which diabetes has been integrated, for fun as well as educational purposes. The highlight is the Center of Services and Advice for Diabetes Control and Prevention, operated by the team of doctors, nurses, and experts in diabetes, nutrition, foot care, and physical activity, as well as the patients. The most important person on each team is the patient, who has to change or modify his or her lifestyles to maintain an active lifestyle that is beneficial for health and recovery from illness. The emphasis is placed on specially educating the patients in a diabetes classroom on a monthly basis, aiming to change the behaviors of the patients and caregivers, and to give counseling on nutritional therapy and foot care. In this effort, the goal of Theptarin Hospital is to help the patients to know about themselves, have normal health checkup results, and check as well as review their lifestyles leading to new healthy behaviors. Based on several years of experience in diabetes care, the hospital has systematically compiled the knowledge and experiences in this matter, serving as a technical coordinator among the public and private sectors in educating the public throughout the country, in addition to running its core business as a private hospital. Professor Theptarin said that, despite its initial operation as a small private hospital, its big dream is to become a diabetes institution that benefits the country, and with public recognition and sustainable efforts in extending diabetes treatment, including foot care, in a full cycle scale. The hospital also aims to conduct research studies. Their useful results will be disseminated all over Thailand and overseas. All of these cannot be accomplished in one individual's life. Rather, they need successors. Based on its 15 years of experience in successfully running diabetes camps, the National Health Security Office and the Ministry of Public Health has designated Theptarin Hospital as the organizer of diabetes camps and foot care programs for medical personnel from all over the country. Dr. Narongsak Angkasuwapala, Chairman, Diabetes Hypertension Policy Direction Committee, National Health Security Organization, said that diabetes is a health threat of all Thai people across the country. It is thus essential that all health personnel cooperate in the care for people with diabetes, supporting health promotion and disease prevention, as well as risk reduction. The health team at Theptarin Hospital has had extensive experience in networking, sharing the guidelines and experiences in diabetic and foot care, which have been well recognized nationally and internationally. At Theptarin Hospital, the learning model has been developed by its multi-professional health team, in collaboration with the Association of Diabetes Educators and other interested networks. The work has been extended from treatment to prevention and lifestyle modification. The team has compiled the diabetes camping experience and established the Behavior Modification or BMO program to encourage the service clients to realize the importance of self-care and modify their behaviors before becoming ill, and make the modified lifestyles sustainable for a happy life. as Theptarin Hospital has been a leader in diabetes treatment and prevention for a long time, paying attention to patient education and monitoring, and continually transforming research results into practice for the patient's benefits. The World Diabetes Foundation, or WDF, has recognized the hospital's work and provided financial support for its program since 2007.
I think this hospital is also very, very unique. I can feel, I've only been here one day, but I can feel it's more than a hospital. It's more the philosophy, I think. It's more a completely different way to approach disease, where focus is on education, is on prevention, is on disease management as teams, which I think we don't see much in this world.
With the goal of raising the standard of diabetes treatment in Thailand, the hospital has been playing a leading role in establishing and operating several non-governmental organizations. Moreover, the hospital has been working collaboratively with several other agencies in producing diabetes care personnel for various health facilities in the public and private sectors in Thailand and other Southeast Asian countries. As a result, Theptarin has been recognized by the World Diabetes Foundation as a Diabetes Excellence Center, responsible for training medical personnel from several international countries.
So that's in summary of what we're doing today from a lot of diabetes prevention. Even though we started 30 years ago, we are 31 years old, and we started as a private clinic focused on diabetes and thyroid. We actually focus on diabetes and thyroid, but to treat thyroid is different from diabetes. Thyroid is easy. You need a good lab, a very good doctor to interpret the results, and then the treatment, and that's it. But diabetes involve education, involve behavior modification, and that's a lot harder than just give the treatment. So if we talk about Theptarin, our signature today, what the character of our character will be teamwork approach. As I mentioned, diabetes is not just patient and doctor thing. You need a team of a multidisciplinary teamwork. And second is patient education, because the focus here is to help patients to able to care for themselves, because doctor can only be with the patient, or the team, even the whole team can only be with the patient just a few minutes, each visit. Third is diabetes prevention. When we started here 31 years ago, diabetes prevention is not in the picture because we did not know that diabetes can be prevented. All we did was to prevent secondary complication, to prevent people with diabetes from complication and prevent disabilities. That's mainly blindness, kidney failure, and amputation. The core value. Actually, Professor Suksan, more than 10 years ago, he worked here for a very brief period because before he went on to his doctorate degree. And he helped us in writing this out, core values, which we hold it very tightly until today. And it's read down, it's ethics. And the one that I would like to focus is S, social responsibility. We are private hospital, but we different from other hospitals because of the S, social responsibility. And the work on social responsibility, we focus on diabetes, raising the standard of diabetes care throughout Thailand. The founder, Dr. Thep, Professor Thep, he's my father. So I actually have been living here for 31 years. And his aim was not to build Theptarin to be the only center that, if you need good diabetes care, you have to come here. That's not his goal. His goal is to raise the standard of everyone care in Thailand. So Theptarin began with a dream. We did not start as a business where, he did the calculation and, I don't make enough money to raise my kids and, I better do a private clinic. That's not the way. He came back to Thailand. He studied in the United States, came back to Thailand in 1974 with a dream to provide patient education in Thailand. It did not exist here. In Thailand 40 years ago, it's just, patient coming to the doctor, receive medication, and go home. That's it. And from what he saw in the States, that's not the way a good diabetes care is. So he wanted to introduce good diabetes care to Thailand, and he started his career in Thailand in a medical school. For 10 years, he tried really hard to do that, to build a team so he can have helper in providing patient education, but he could not do that in medical school. Can you guess why? Even today, medical school still do not have a diabetes center. It does not exist in medical school. Can you guess why? The lobby from the farmer? What do you mean by the lobby from the farmer?
Because it's more profitable for them to buy to sell medicaments than to prevent.
You mean the lobby from the pharmacy company?
Yeah.
Not that far. Yeah. Yeah. Very business mindset, I think. That's Another guess? Think of a big medical school 40 years ago. Even today, like today, they still have the same problem. Patients were not ready. First, there's no demand. Patients were poor, low education, and they would not come to see the doctor unless they have probably almost blind. It's not the time to teach them how they can care for themselves to prevent complications. They already have complications. Second, to have a team, he needs to talk to other doctors. He needs nurses to be on board. But in medical school, everything is departmental. Doctors, if you have wound, you probably sent to a surgery department and never come back to diabetes doctor. So there's no teamwork in the environment of medical school. For nurses, they have a huge nursing department, and they ask why, Dr. Ted, why do you need a nurse of your own? We have a whole nurse here to serve the patients already. Just no one understood what he wanted to do, and the environment just did not allow. He was about 40 years old, so he decided if he wanted to continue his dream of providing this patient education, building a team model, building a team, diabetes team in Thailand, he had to do something else. And trying in the government doesn't work. He needs something he can control. So he thought maybe a private clinic. He can have his say. He can do whatever he wants. So he left the government and then founded diabetes clinic here at Theptarin 31 years ago. At that time, what do you think the social people look at him? What do people think of that? Leaving the government and then found your own private clinic. What would people think? Yeah, that's a mindset. If you love your country, you want to serve your people, you got to serve the government. That's a common thought, and he doesn't care, and he continued his dream, and until today, people accepted that a private, being in a private, probably you can do more in the way that you work. There's some things that you can do in a private better than in the government, and you can serve the public better in a private environment. So, but it took a big courage, 20 years no one understood him until today. We got to be accepted more, and also to there's Mahidol to come and prove that we are running on a sufficiency economy as well. So that's part of the acceptance that we received. And this is a model that this is the old model, patient and diabetes doctor, just the two, business of the two people. But what he wanted to build is to have educator, to have dietitian, and with other doctors to talk together, because you are treating the same patient, you should communicate. So that's a team that he wanted. And the latest one is exercise, wanted to plug in the exercise because we are now doing prevention. Exercise is a very important part. And for our work, when we work on our common sense. Like my dad has a dream, and he just keep doing it without a blueprint. 5 years from now, I'm going to be like this. 10 years from now, we're going to do that, do this. We're not working like that. Everything is by common sense and by the opportunity that comes in. But what we hold very strongly is the dream and the ethics. We know, kind of have a thing to make decision what to go and what not to go, because we know what we believe on. And if you look at the work, there are 3 steps. Looking back, we think we always work on these 3 steps. First is to build a model, because always, like from teamwork, no one understands what it is, so we have to build a model so people can see. And second, once we have something tangible, we have to go around and tell people that, hey, we got this model. You probably should think about it and follow this, because we think it's a good way to do. So we go advertise, people believe us. And then afterwards, after they believe us, they want to do the same. We have to think how we can support them so they can do the same without having to go through from 0 step. So that's the 3 steps of the work. And I will go down the 3 steps, different kind of work. The first work is multidisciplinary teamwork. How we started this is us 31 years ago. It's just a small clinic. First diabetes and thyroid center, first endocrine center in Thailand. And everything was in-house trained, because if you build a diabetes center in the United States or probably in your country, in Switzerland, you can just make a phone call. I need a dietitian. Come, you post an advertising, I need a diabetes educator, and they will come. But for Thailand, at that time, no one knew what diabetes educator is. No one knew what dietitian is. Patients do not want education. Do you know what they want, the patient? Medicine. Yes, they only want medicine. They only want to see doctors. But what my dad thinks is that we are the professional. We know better than the consumer what's good for them. So it's our duty to force that in, to make that demand to happen. So it doesn't go along with the business, to if you have demand, you go supply that. So there's no demand, but we want to supply it. And he founded Foundation for Association of Thai Diabetes Educator to be a platform where people of multidisciplinary teamwork, like pharmacy, nurses, doctors, nutritionists, dietitians, can come together and have a forum together, because otherwise they treating the same patient, but they never talk to each other. And in order to have that association or do anything with diabetes, he has to work with doctors, dietitians, nurses, academics, and in government, in private, in universities, in professional associations. So it's a lot of doing with network, because you're working with a lot of professionals here. And he inspired universities to found dietetics program. We did not have dietetics program before when we founded Theptarin, but because he continued to say, hey, we need the help of dietitians, until the university, his friends in the university see the need, and then they go back and write up a curriculum and produce dietitians for the whole country of Thailand. So we now have dietetic students coming out of universities. When we have a model, usually in a business, if you have something good, like we have a teamwork here, we would probably keep as a secret. No one should know. No one should copy, right? Because otherwise they would, no one will come here. To have a business, you should be unique. But he thinks it the other way. He open. Anyone wants to come see how we work, we welcome. We even find a way that can make it more efficient. For example, instead of all the head of the department coming in, walk around and go back and do nothing, we change the way so that we get the practice level to come here and talk to our practitioners here, and they make friends and keep connection and we support them until they are strong enough to build their own team there, and we continue the friendship. We visit them, they visit us. That way we make friends. And the second work is behavioral modification through activities. We know that diabetes, you need to modify behavior. It's eating habits, it's exercise, but teaching alone, talking, from our own experience, it didn't work. So we need activities, and the activities that we introduce is diabetes camp for adults. That's how we ran for 14 years. We're the first place that ran a diabetes camp in Thailand. And throughout that camp, we learned as well. So 14 years, we never done the same thing. It's like a learning curve. For example, exercise, we used to put everyone together in one team, in one group. In the morning, everyone exercise together. But in later camps, we divide them into groups according to physical activities. Or for the blood check, we used to be like very service-minded, like what you did. We did everything for you. That's like service mind, right? We think it's a good service mind. But in later camps, we think it should be the patient's responsibility to check their own blood. So we started to work with the device company and borrow the device and give it to everyone in the camp. So we learn as well from the patient. And how everything has to be fun. We copy camp shows from TV and play it in camp because it had select a model, do a club, and then the work. Diabetes camp, we did it for 14 years, and we kind of analyzed it. It really takes so much energy, and it only affects very few people, and how we could distribute that work out. In 2006, we convinced National Health Security Organization, where they pay for the universal coverage throughout Thailand, to allocate some money for activities for diabetes patients. But the thing is that they have money set aside, but they did not know their people, nurses, doctors all over Thailand, never done activities before. They don't know what to do. So the National Health came to us and asked us to do the training. That's the start of our big activities in training. We trained more than 1,000 nurses to do diabetes camp. And because of the government already set aside the money, so after the training, they basically went back home and get the money and ran the camp. So with the effect of the government policy, our experience can be explode in what do you call it? The impact can multiply. And then the third work is the foot care. Have you checked your feet today? Do you put lotion on your feet? Yes, you do. That's good.
Every day.
Feet are something that we forget all the time, and especially for Thais. Thais think that feet are the lowest part. And doctors in the old days, check for diabetes, but they never ask patients to take off their shoes. They just don't check feet. Meanwhile, amputation is one of the, the top complication of diabetes. So basically, we just let it go. And we are the first place that started to care for interested in foot care. And people laughed. Doctors came here, saw a poster of the foot clinic, and they actually laughed. Why Dr. Thep is so interested in feet. But today, people see the importance. So for foot care, there's no training in Thailand again. And we keep learning that by going back to sending doctors to the States and coming back and kind of develop our services. Learn from foreigners, from the United States, from Australia, mainly 2 countries. And once a wound heals, we try to heal the wound first, right? And once the wound heals, another problem that we face is that we could not put patient back on the floor. Do you know why? It takes so long to heal the wound, and during the wound healing process, you cannot step on the wound, right? And they get osteoporosis from staying on bed for so long, and also because the wound was so severe that there's no meat. What do you call it? There's only the skin and the bone. So the wound is healed, yes, but when you put weight back on the feet, this ulcer happen again. That is when we learn that we need someone to make shoes for the patient. So we did not know from the beginning we needed shoe, but just from the experience, we knew that we needed someone to specialize in shoes, and we found this person from Leprosy Hospital. Leprosy has the same numbness in the feet, and people at the Leprosy Hospital were trained by the missionary to do the footwear. So we joined with them. And we started to do other procedures to prevent the wound. So we started from healing the wound, and then we have to move further by preventing recurrence of the wound, and also prevent people who never had wound not to have wound. Yeah. And whenever we have people with policy power or people with money, we will tell them the story of our work. So maybe we can make connection, and our work can go further, or we can get support financially. That's the first time, 2005 is the first time World Diabetes Foundation heard about us, and the first time we got to know World Diabetes Foundation, we told them the same story. And they said, actually, what we are doing now, they support. So ask for grants. That's when we think about asking for grant. And the first grant we got from 2007 in foot care. It's a very, very tiny grant because I wrote the grant, and I did not know how I could recruit people for training. What we were going to do is foot care training because we want to spread out the knowledge. And but I had no idea who to recruit to come for training, because foot care just basically no one were interested in. But so ran a very small grant for 2 days, and could recruited 256 persons from all over. It was a very difficult recruitment, and we follow them up on site as well to see how they improve from just 2 days. 2 days training, but they got the concept, and then they can apply. They're already working with people. They're already facing with wounds. So we taught them the concept, and they go apply the concepts to their patients. And then one small grant, we got to a bigger grant to train more advanced knowledge. This time, it was super easy to recruit. We actually refused 70 people for training because there's too many applicants. So we could give priority to teams that comes in teams and with the doctor, because doctor is the key driver for the foot care to happen in the facilities. Because even though you train the nurses so well, when they go back and the doctors say no, nothing can happen. So we selected teams that come with the doctor. And we also give grants. We ask for grants and we give grants to teams that are ready to run their own training. Because we know that our team is so small and there's no way that if we hold everything here, we could not expand. So other people can help themselves to do the basic stuff and we do more advanced stuff. And we also create, to expand the knowledge, create some educational tools like CDs, posters, textbook. We do that. And then to the next grant, it's even bigger grant, and the way it works. This time, in 2012, we were accepted by National Health to be on board, be on a lot of committees, and they even create a committee on foot care because we talk until they see the importance. Because my dad started to have a lot of say to the national board, and then they have a committee built on. So the latest grant we got, we work closely with the government, and working with the government is different from us working alone, even though we still train the people from the government. But when we work alone, we have no idea how to help them to get the knowledge and implement it. So we only have to give knowledge. But then when we work with the government, they have their own system where they follow up, and then they can provide what they need. It's a system. It's a system of the government that already exists. The top of the government know what these people are doing. So it's a lot more impact than us doing without the help without the connection with the government. So we added the prevention into the foot care training, because even though we teach them how to prevent amputation, but to prevent amputation from at the beginning is the prevention of diabetes. That means diet and exercise. We don't want anyone to forget that, so we added the diet and exercise into the foot care training as well. We provide. This is some business thing. We ask for money from pharmaceutical company, or sometimes Coca-Cola, to create a poster so people who come for training can carry posters back home for work. And instead of we hire someone to print all this poster that we want to produce, we get the sponsor money and bought our own printer. So from that first project, we do the same, but then we make some profit out of that because now we can produce everything ourselves. So that's how we could make a living from prevention. This is a picture show that after the training, people who come for training, they go back home and they do the same, do the training. So we expand number of people get trained. And until today, 2,700 people have come, step here in Theptarin to train on foot care. And if you see the number, this number is collected by the government. See amputation. It reduced from, in 2010, it's 0.5% to, in only 5 years, to 0.1%. That's the amputation reduction by 80%. We claim that it's a lot of work of us too, because we basically the sole trainer in Thailand on foot care. And next thing is diabetes prevention. Diabetes prevention is not started by the business as well. why do you think prevention is very difficult to make money? And it's not something that, private hospital would think of doing, except us. Yes? Yeah, insurance doesn't pay. Insurance doesn't understand. Yes?
Maybe also because if you want money for it, the people don't want for prevention.
Correct. Yeah. Treatment, you suffer, so you come to hospital for it, right? Prevention, you're fine. Why would you come? It's the people who give the service have to go and beg, please, pay attention. You have breast and you should lose some weight and you should control your diet or whatever. So it's a very difficult thing. It's not a decision of the business at all. But my dad made this decision because he said, we are specialized in diabetes, and the research shows already that diabetes can be prevented by lifestyle modification. It came out around 2002. And that year he said, so because the research says that, we have to do diabetes prevention. Is the job of other people, of the employees, to think how to make money from prevention and what to do. He only gives the policy, and then you go do it. So how we started from running activities for our own employees until today. We have group activities, small activities, long activities, activities that anyone can join, like walk the stair, you can collect stamps. Or activities like challenge on weight reduction. 30 people can join. We open for 30 people, but we open for everyone to vote who's going to win. So that way we can spread get the attention of the whole company in order to change the culture here. Because the culture here, everyone is professional who trained to pay attention to patients, to people who are sick. If you walk in with a diabetic mother and you are obese son, we pay attention to the diabetic mother. We never pay attention to obese son because, the patient is the mother. But if you want to run a diabetes prevention, we have to change our mindset, and we have to somehow get the attention of the son as well. So first employee need to change in order to create that type of service. And after we run with get the experience from employees, we ask a grant again to run like health fair to office buildings, to shopping malls, because we think that we need to start with something free in order to, before we can provide a service and charge for it, we need the experience. So providing services for employees is free, and it's also HR good for employees as well. And second, we ask for the grant from World Diabetes Foundation again to run free activities for the working people. Because we think working people, your age, is a worse lifestyle and at risk for diabetes, and young enough to prevent it. So we go run at 24 places, 8,600 people. And we got now we have collect statistics that say that, Thai people are have high risk. Do you think Thai people are skinny? Or maybe judging from staff at Mahidol, maybe not. Most people still say that we are small, but actually we're not. You say, this is 8,600 people. Body mass index, half of us already over. And if you measure the waistline or even the visceral fat, a third of us has over the limit. So we're not small people. These activities we also ran with the HR. We target the HR. We go to companies and say that companies should have the responsibility to their employees more than just paying for when they get sick. But they should have the responsibility in creating the environment to help employees to live a better lifestyle. So that's a message that we go around. Not very many people listen to us. Because you know what the HR say? Any HR in here? No. It's a... But HR, if you sit in an HR seat, maybe you're different. They say like, it's a waste of time. It's and we go there with free, you know. I got a grant and I offer them free stuff, but they say it's a waste of time a waste of their employees' time to come attend that, you know, maybe 3 hours of or whatever, and it's a waste of their time because they have so much to do in order to organize, even though it's free, but they need to do the PR, to organize and everything, the location, the whatever. It's just not in their priority. So we got rejected from a lot of places we went to offer that. But actually, it proved that for 3 months, if they change the behavior, the risk of diabetes can be decreased. Diabetes is go up and down. So if you behave well, your risk of developing diabetes can come down. And this is the behavior modification product in Theptarin. We call it BMO, behavior modification. We have the BMO individual. It's like a individual counseling to lose weight. BMO office, where we work with the office. Show you one last example, and group event. This is example of the program we did for Nestle. Nestle is an international company, and they are quite advanced in the thinking of taking care of their employees. So they want to do this, taking care of this 30 people for 10 weeks. They came to us. We provide, design the program for 10 weeks, including blood test, fitness test, see the doctor, and set a target. And we provide like a design of group activities, small group, big group, competition among groups within the group, or the tally of the weight that they can reduce each time they come. So they came here about 6 times, do the diet and exercise classes. And in here, we let them sit back after 10 weeks to think back what they have done in order to lose the weight. 30% lost 189 kilos in total, and they maintain. I talked to some of them, and they maintain. My own analysis is that it's a peer pressure, because they already lose weight, look so well, and they get expectation from all the friends to continue looking that way. So they kind of pressure to maintain their health. And when we started Theptarin, we did not think of going beyond Thailand at all, but it came naturally. People around us asked to come here to see how we built a diabetes team. So these are the countries that come here and stay for, these are the countries that stay for 1 month. People who ask to be here for 1 month. So we host them, and we also put them on a behavior modification program. So they came here, they see how we work, and they went back home with smaller waistline. So most of them. And doctors from the Philippines came here they asked us to run a continuing education for doctors from the Philippines, and 270 people came here. And like world-renowned institutions started to know us. You have to know, we are a very small, tiny hospital in Thailand, and in order for Johns Hopkins to kind of ask to send a doctor, that's huge for us here, and we honored that. So that's and because we think like this, the like not the maximizing the profit, while hospital outside right now in Thailand is so commercialized. You would not believe how commercialized hospital can. They are in the stock market, and they do everything for you to do all the checkup and to find diseases for you. Even though you feel well, you get crazy because they tell you that your minute cell is starting to grow or something like that. It's just so commercialized, and because we stay this way, there are people who started to think the same, coming to approach us. One very good example is ICATH. It's a team of cardiologists who actually seeking to have their own center where they can practice without the pressure from the business side. So they came to us and established, together with the hospital and the group of the cardiologists, established a cardio center, which just opened last year. Us alone, a small hospital, cannot open a cardio center. It's a big investment for the cath lab. And if we invest and we do not have the cardiology with us, what would happen if that cardiology who leave us? We would be left with very heavy, like 100 million baht machine without someone to run it. So we could not do that alone, and it's really good to have all this huge, big cardiology group coming in and invest with us, not just coming in with the labor, but they invest the money with us. So in summary, the dream is to raise the standard of diabetes care in Thailand, and the target is to build a team. We need to do the training. So training is our main thing that we do here. And in order to do that, to expand the impact of us, we are very small, but to have the impact throughout the country, we need to work with all these like universities, Mahidol University, work with professional association, the government, the private enterprise. Each of the sector has its own unique quality that can work together, and we work in the middle as a philanthropic company to draw all the resources together in order to create something for the population, for the country. Whatever. Here again. So thank you. And we want to come here. The patients who come here, usually patient would think coming to the hospital, the end product, the output product that you take back home, what is it? A bag of medication. I guess in other countries, most of the patients would expect it's a bag of medication when you go home. But we want people who come here to know that we put more things in the bag. It's the medication, it's the knowledge on dietetics, it's the knowledge on exercise, it's the motivation that you can put back in the bag that you carry home too. That's the goal that we want to work towards. So thank you. Questions? Or anyone want to comment in order to relate this with the sufficiency economy that you listened to? Yes?
I have a question. You told what was not really that clear for me. That, well, first of all, you don't look to maximize profit because you are a company that in its core values you have social responsibility, right? And also you told that in a certain point they said, like, to the team, I don't know how you're going to do it, but look profit through prevention. How did you manage to do that?
How did we manage to do that?
Yeah, to have profit, not perhaps the maximum profit, but profit from prevention.
I think it needs a lot of creativity to do that. And first of all, everyone have to absorb that thinking. And the quality of my dad, one thing is that he talks nonstop. Not nonstop, I mean repeatedly. He keeps repeating things over and over and over and over again until everyone in the hospital understand what it is. And second, he opened the opportunity here. If you want to propose a program, go fine. it doesn't take much money. It doesn't. I think we open for opportunity for people to do something new, something creative. And so with that, we slowly build a team and ideas of how to run all these, all the things that we have shown here. Huh?
Okay, thanks.
It's difficult to explain, but I think it's slowly, and you need not to, you cannot expect, from 1 year you have to produce this type of activities and we have to go out and sell it. And that, I think, that's how we do it.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
thank you. Yes?
Can I ask, is there a general insurance for people in Thailand? Like everyone has a medical insurance?
Yes,
So also the very poor people can afford to do a treatment here or not?
We are a private hospital and we do not accept universal coverage. Everyone have universal coverage. If you are a Thai citizen, you're entitled to go somewhere, but you cannot come to Theptarin because we don't accept that. And but we impact the society through all this, like the knowledge, expanding, teaching, and all that. But we cannot accept universal coverage because they pay per capita. And it just, a diabetes center, we want to maintain the standard here. And with the per capita, you have a list of drugs you can use, and it just doesn't work here. Yeah.
You mentioned that you mostly offering boot camps for adults. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
And I was just wondering if you also thinking of give this boot camp to children, as it's probably more easier to develop a healthy lifestyle when you're young instead of change when you're old.
The diabetes camp for kids, they usually target the type 1. Mm-hmm. So, and type 1 camp is run by a medical school here, and the team here, we have a large number of endocrinologists, of diabetologists here, but not big on pediatric. It just happened that we've all adult diabetes that we take care of. And adult diabetes, you take care from like 15 up till you die. For pediatric, it's just up to about like 14 to teenage. Yeah. So another person are doing that better than we do anyway. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any more questions here? Anyone can link that to sufficiency economy, the model that you have heard from Professor Suksan. Make sense? Little? Oh, actually the question that I got from all the classes except this class is how we could run this, how we could, actually kind of your question, the answer is probably because we are family run, family owned. We're not in the stock market another level, but even that, we have 400 shareholders, but most shareholders are our, I don't have 400 family members, patients, and the family also hold a very large part of the share. So basically, we have the decision. The decision is on my father, and he has very strong mindset of what he wants to do, and the shareholder, mostly they don't know that they're investing in us. When we expanded and recruit for shares, it's like patients coming to see Dr. Thep, and Dr. Thep is going to expand the hospital. Okay, I'll help Dr. Thep kind of buying share. It's that type, So it's not, they're not investing in and expecting the return on that. So it's another thing. And that's the key that allow us to do what we are doing now. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense at all if you're calculating in business terms. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Anyone sitting in front of the computer more than 2 hours per day? I think everyone. We're going to take you to our fitness center where you saw on the video. And I prepared a class for some exercise to prevent office syndrome for you. So let's go. You have to go home with more than just a lecture, you know. You got a blood test, then you get some exercise.